A very good morning to you. How you doing, people? And welcome to Life and Style. It's not too late to say Happy New Year, just in case you missed out last week on Tuesday. So Happy New Year to everyone who's tuned in. And this is on KTN Home, and I'm your host, Mikali. And right now, we are at the Charlie's in town. Like, this is the hottest place to be in town for your breakfast. The ambience is amazing. The food is top-notch. So if you're in town, Ali, waiting for that meeting, you want to make that impression, Charlie's is just the place to be. Today is Monday, and every Monday on Life and Style, we're all about motivating, entertaining, and making sure that you are the best version of yourself that could ever be, because you keep saying the best project you could ever work on is you, and that is why we're here today. And just before we get to books and blogs and motivate, right now I have two amazing ladies here, and we're going to be talking about breaking the glass ceiling, especially for women in terms of career. What is that thing? Why do we feel like those top positions are just meant for the guys? Do we think we're not good enough? Is it how we're brought up? Is it the workplace? All of that. And this conversation was triggered by a video from BBC. Just check it out.
I don't want to be just an anomaly. I don't want to be, the only one breaking ceilings. I want there to be other women, minority, anybody.
Lauren Simmons is the youngest woman to be a full-time broker on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.
Well, usually I'll say, I work at the New York Stock Exchange. Oh, what do you do? An equity trader. And they're shocked, but the perception is, and especially in a lot of finance movies, Wolf of Wall Street, they are white, older men. And so to be 24 now and to be, a minority and a woman, it takes people, a second to realize, like, oh, wow, you have an awesome job.
Lauren is just one of two female brokers on the floor.
With there being another person that is different from everyone else, it does bring diversity and new conversations and new breath to the floor. As far as looking to a mentor that looks like you, obviously that's not going to happen. I, am grateful that I do get to work with men that do want me to succeed. Richard Rosenblatt, my boss, the CEO of the company, he has given me so much career advice outside of the exchange floor.
The New York Stock Exchange itself doesn't hire brokers. Individual securities firms do. Rosenblatt Securities hired Lauren in March 2017. She had a degree in genetics, but no prior experience in finance.
I couldn't care less if she took finance classes. We do research, and I care a lot about your education to be an analyst for us. Here, I care about who you are as a person.
When Lauren's story was first reported on in March 2018, there was a media storm, and she felt like change was happening. But when Rosenblatt Securities posted a new broker position in May, of over 250 applicants, not a single woman applied.
I have spoken with executive women who will say that they'll post a job and the qualifications, 10 years experience and blah, 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 blah. And the woman will have, everything but the 10 years and will say, well, I don't have the 10 years, should I apply? You're more than overqualified to apply for this job. Please apply for it. While as men, again, what I've learned from them, they just do it.
We have women applying for other jobs in the firm. I don't know why more women don't apply for jobs on the floor of the exchange.
According to a 2017 study by Stanford University, men comprised 75% of the wealth management field and filled more than 80% of leadership roles.
I think it definitely is a confidence thing and just doing it. When you are in a space where you are extremely uncomfortable and you're fear-driven and you still take the leap, that's when the biggest growth happens. So I think if more women were risk adverse and they took the chance, you would see a lot more women breaking glass ceilings and these stories just being a thing, not a oh my gosh moment. It would be normalized.
Lauren is only the second African-American female broker in the exchange's 226-year history.
There's a difference on trying to have diversity because that's the hot topic word right now than actually implementing diversity. And the only way to implement diversity is to really truly want diversity. It's so easy to throw around a word, and you'll know in those leadership roles who is sitting at the top. Of the top are all 5 white men. How diverse is it really? I can't put it all on the men and the firms on the floor, especially when it's not 100% their fault if they don't get any applicants. And I can't put it all on minorities or people who, didn't grow up, learning finance, because what you don't know, you're not gonna apply for. You're just not exposed to it. So where does that start?
Lauren believes it could start with the next generation.
Honestly, I think things like traditional Wall Street won't even be a thing. I think people will get tired of people in leadership and how they don't give them the opportunity, and they'll write their own narrative. They'll make their own hedge fund, and everyone part of that hedge fund will be diverse.
Next up for Lauren's story, the big screen. Actress Kiersey Clemons is set to play Lauren in a biopic about her journey to the New York Stock Exchange.
Well, there you have it. Interesting, isn't it? I have 2 amazing ladies to discuss that and so much more. Welcome to the panel, ladies.
Thank you. And Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year and good morning.
And good morning.
Cold
Wow,
morning.
it's so chilly.
Yeah,
It is so chilly. But glad you guys could make it this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Out of your very busy schedule.
Of being mommy.
Of being mommy and wife. And what's happening? Are you guys not working today? Are you working today? What's going on?
Right after this.
Right after this. Great. So probably introduce yourselves to the people. Yeah, microphone.
All right. So my name is Evelyn Kasina. I am the CEO of EveMinute, which is an IT consultancy firm in Nairobi, and very soon going out of the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
do you want to mention the awards now, or we're going to do that later?
Oh, a bit later.
No way. We start here.
now?
This is what we're talking about. We're not sure changing. We're not going to, humble ourselves so that others feel like we're not being too loud. So now.
So I was recently awarded the most influential SME in Africa. I mean Kenya and East Africa. Yeah.
Beautiful. Among others.
Yeah, by the CEO Global.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that was one of my highlights of 2017.
Okay.
Among very many other awards.
2017, 2018.
2018 rather,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, towards the end of 2018. I got it again last year, so this again was,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Good
yeah,
stuff.
true.
So I'm Wakia Mzenge. I am a mother of 3. I'm a wife. I'm a voice actor, a stage actor, and a screen actor. And I'm also a principal at Ushindi Christian Schools.
Wow. You mentioned? Did you mention mother wife? No, you didn't.
I am a wife and a mother of 2.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
And the reason you guys are here today is because we're talking about breaking that glass ceiling, especially career-wise and in corporates and going up the ladder in terms of opportunities. And that involves money as well. And the fact there's something they used to call, was it mommy track or something many years ago, where you, as a woman, you're not perceived, or you will not be given the opportunity to go up the ladder super fast because, one, when you get pregnant, you'll have to go on maternity leave. And then when you come back, then you have divided attention. I made my little one, and then my husband, and then this
Almost
work.
2 years.
Almost 2 years of
Yeah.
doing that. So breaking that ceiling over the years, things have changed, and you two are an example of that. And that's what we're here to discuss. You guys watched the video, right? Do you want to talk about it a bit?
Well, what is the ceiling, first of all?
Well, it's invisible. I think it's imaginary sometimes because we've seen people break it. It's not like it's not breakable. I mean, it's not been broken before, but
I think it's interesting what the young lady talks about,
Yeah.
that even after she came to the limelight and everybody was talking about her, that people still could not apply for such jobs. Like, women still could not apply for such jobs. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest issue. Like, what are we so afraid of, so afraid of the unknown?
Yeah.
I think women just need to get out of that fear zone and become fierce and go out there and go get it.
Okay, I see
Yeah.
the Meskeyo rhyming.
Actually, I think also because we have so much information on our fingertips right
Okay.
now because of technology, because of the internet, there is literally no excuse. No excuse at all.
And this brings us to the question. Maybe I should have started with this, but then of course we had to talk about the video. But have you experienced it, going up the ladder, creating your own niche in the market, especially in the IT world?
Obviously. Even when you sit in boardrooms where I think out of 10 people, there are only maybe 2 or 3 women. it's really intimidating. But the same information that I have is the same information the man has. But the advantage I feel men have as opposed to women is the fact that if I give you a literal example right now, men have already read the newspaper. By now, by 7 o'clock, they have. How many women have read the newspaper? I know we have that excuse that things are online and everything. But even if things are online, who knows the headlines right now?
I'm just going to throw spanner into the works because is it something that happened when we were growing up? Who used to buy the newspapers when we were growing
Dad,
up?
yes.
Who used to read the newspaper?
Dad.
Where was mom?
In the kitchen.
And do you buy a newspaper?
I do sometimes.
Okay.
But I actually do check what's happening by 5:30 in the morning.
5:30
in the morning.
Just give her the mic because I know your schedule. Wakio, I know your schedule, so do you?
I'm in traffic.
Yeah.
Because I get to work by 6. I need to be picked in town by 6.
Okay.
But I think even to begin with, women already have been handed the short end of the stick to begin with, culturally, traditionally, and historically even. Because even like when we were at war or during fighting for colonialism, it's the men who are fighting and the women who are staying at home taking care of the families. Yeah. And so it became like a lifestyle for women to be caring and all. And I remember even like growing up, I was wondering, how can there be a male nurse? Because nurses are so. I almost felt like the word nurse is for a woman.
Yeah.
Like, there couldn't be a male nurse. So
one of those words you'd be like, so when you say actor, you were looking for an actress. So if it's a nurse, so what is a male nurse?
What is a male nurse? Exactly. So some of these things are actually out of history and tradition and culture and all those things. But I feel like women have struggled even from the onset. Yeah. Because when you talk about the glass ceiling, that's why I was asking, what is this glass ceiling? It almost feels like it's it's somewhere up there.
It's already a ceiling, so
it's already a ceiling somewhere up there that I have to crash. I have to smash it when I'm up there. Yeah. But the struggles for a woman starts from the very bottom. Yeah. Like when you just join a career and you're young and you talk about pregnancy, that's when most women start getting pregnant when they're still young, and that's when you're starting to blossom in your career. And so when you take that break of 2 years or 2.5, men are not taking that break. They're out there still working and going up the ladder. And so you'll find that the men will rise faster than the woman when they take into motherhood and parenting and all those kind of things.
Life is not fair. In this way, when you decide to work on your career and have these babies later, the society will still talk about you. It's like, look at that one. Anapanda tu ladder ya career na fikiriju ya family, because we also have that. But I just work you. I didn't ask you this, but have you experienced the same? You're an actor, you're an artist in the very sense of the word, and a principal as well. But did you experience any?
Well, I got into acting professionally like 4 years ago, like professionally, completely. Like that's all I'm doing. Yeah. But before that, I was corporate manager for a record label. Then I climbed that ladder actually to GM of that same company. But I remember very well when I was leaving and I was determined to do what I want to do, what I love to do. And my CEO told me, you can't start changing your career at 30. Whoa. It's going to be difficult. This is when you need to be growing even bigger in that same spot you're in. Okay. But I feel like the ceiling is not really about growing up that particular, like a certain career, going up that ladder. It's about pursuing your dreams, reaching out to them, and jumping over all the obstacles that come between you and your vision. Absolutely. So it's not really about being a CEO. It's not really being about, a GM or being whatever. Yeah. It's about achieving the vision that you have for yourself.
And today we're talking about breaking the glass ceiling. So we've focused on what it could be and where it came from. Yeah. But how do we go about breaking those barriers? How do we go about creating that space for ourselves? Because we've already established that we struggled from the onset, but we've seen women who've broken. I mean, Michelle Obama is like my Oprah Winfrey and all of that. We have our very own Wangari Maathai, Salif Johnson, all of those. They broke the ceilings. They decided, you know what, yes, Wanasema, but I'm going to do it my way. So what are some of the things you would say as Evelyn you did to make sure that you keep doing what you're doing, you keep receiving these awards, and thankfully you're going out of Africa. Is it Africa or Kenya?
First in Africa, yes.
First in Africa, yeah.
Well, number one, I started just speaking out, because I think one of the things that women don't have courage, I find, is the fact that I just need to say what I do. If you're really passionate about what you do, just talk about it. Be like that broken record, just continue speaking about it. And I think at a very early age, when I started my business when I was 24.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay.
I was so green, I didn't know what I was doing. But I just started, I got into networks and immediately started being in leadership positions. So I started taking leadership positions. And that really put me at a very good place.
Okay.
Like currently, I am the IT sector champion of OWIT, which is an international organization. And it has made me sit in very, very many important places where my voice is heard. So I think for women, if you really have something to say, you just get out there and say it. Someone will be listening. And that's the most important thing. Then I think we also need to get out of that comfort zone, because I think we keep telling ourselves that, no, that one is for men, that one is for men. No, even the government has 30% for women. So where are you? That 30%, get in there and grab that piece of pie. Because I think when you don't first do your research, when you don't get into places where you're meeting people and talking about what you do, then who will hear you? Who will listen? And, you know, and those positions are out there. Actually, I feel so sad because, like, just recently, I think it was on Sunday, I had an opportunity to apply for something, and I posted it in a group, and people were chatting me, telling me, "Can you please summarize it for me?" I'm like, if you want me to summarize this for you, then how are you going to?
No,
commit
that job is not for you. It is not.
You won't commit.
No,
if you
won't.
can't even just read the website and get information to find out, okay, is this thing for me or not?
Okay.
How do you just tell someone, summarize this for me? That is already being very lazy. I will block.
Are they
you.
watching right now because they know?
So
It's like, oh my God, what did she do on national television?
I hope
Okay.
they are. And
Okay.
I think that is the thing. We get opportunities. Number one, we start doing, you know, the way women have a to-do list from here to Timbuktu.
Yeah.
Then if you look at something and the deadline is in February, then you forget. And you had time to do it. Then you start doing things last minute. Those are some of the things that make us miss opportunities.
Okay.
Because I believe if you get something, plan for it, do it on time.
So would you say this is something that the guys do?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That
And then
yeah was
again-
he's like,
Yeah,
wow.
jump in it.
Yeah, and then guys, you know what they do? They consolidate their efforts.
Okay.
So they will get this gig. I can do this, I can do this, you can do this.
Yeah.
They consolidate their efforts. For women, I want the whole pie to myself. So I think also that mentality kind of needs to stop. We need to be able to share, because nobody can do one thing in totality by themselves.
No, you can't.
So if you have a particular strength and she has a particular strength, we just need to consolidate our energies and then do some projects together. And I think that's what brings women up. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what do you have to say about that? How do you break this ceiling?
Those are Chama concepts, and they're working. And
It's
they're
true.
working.
It
And
is
then
true.
women are doing amazing things when you come together. You
Yeah.
know, no man is an island. You need to team up, and then you're able to achieve more. Well, you are asking, like, what are those things that you need to do to break that ceiling?
Yeah.
I think, as she said, you know, you need to be out there. You need to start. Just start. I was reading an article that was shared by a friend of mine the other day by Dr. Okwini, and he called it chak something nyanima. I don't know what to call a child in Luo, but it just means just start.
Okay.
Just begin. And you know, when you just begin, then you keep going. But when you're too afraid to start, that's where the problem lies. You know, when you have a vision, when you have a dream, you need to sit down with yourself in accord and ask yourself, where do I start?
Yeah.
And whatever you have, just begin and keep going, because that's the only way that you can soar. But if you hold on to a dream, it will die inside you and will never come out there. Nobody will ever hear about it. Like as she said, if you don't talk about it, if you don't share with people, nobody will ever know there's some sort of brilliance inside you. They look at you and say, okay, this one has just resigned to whatever. But even when I look at the environment, how has it been created? How has it been made possible for women to achieve their dreams? It has been so difficult from time immemorial for women to achieve their personal dreams and goals. But now, slowly but surely, I can see we're not looking for equality, we're looking for equity. An environment where I can perform and be successful.
Yeah.
And I look at simple things like matatu conductors. For a long time, it was very hard to find a female matatu conductor.
Even taxi drivers.
Yeah,
True.
and because of the way the job looked, it looked like a risk. You know, it was all about stunts. People would hang, and you know, they would do somersaults.
And you're dealing with
that.
everybody. Nobody wants to pay you, and
I know,
it's
and
crazy.
thank God for Michuki rules, because now
Yeah.
we know that conductors, they have their own seats.
Yes.
And you know, they operate in the matatu, they don't have to hang.
How
and
do you
all
feel
that.
when you get into an Uber and it's a female driving? You're like, oh yes.
So awesome, like you
Oh.
have a long conversation,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
literally enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I think just creating an environment where women can actually pursue these careers that seem to be male dominated
Yeah.
is really, really crucial.
And I also want people to understand that it's not about being CEO immediately. It's not about
Absolutely.
getting that GM job. It's just trying that. You saw recently that news about a lady who's sitting on the roads and jazzing potholes.
Yes,
And she's like, you know what, my husband died over here. So I'm going to make this road.
Just do it.
Just do it. And there's something else about going the extra mile. Recently, I saw a conversation about a lady. A lady was saying that they went to school with this guy, and then they got the same grade. When they applied for this job, like 2 months in, the guy was promoted. And then this chick was still the same level. And she was convinced, like, why? Why do I do this? Why should I go to work? I should just resign. Now I'm answering to someone who was my classmate. Da, 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 da. And she was really pissed about this. But then one lady told her, you know what? You need to do something extra. And I don't know if it applies everywhere, but when you're given a job to do, how about you go over and above that? How about you go the extra mile and bring more information? How about you are first at work, out of work late? It will definitely come to you, because they're not, I don't think people can assume that. The bosses would never assume that. Like, you're all on their face all the time with information in your fingertips. That would be totally amazing.
I'd actually say at the extra mile, there's no traffic. So I think that is the place to be.
Yeah.
So I think women need to start, just playing a little, stop playing safe. Just go extra.
Take a risk, yeah.
Take the risk, calculate the risk, obviously, but take it.
Yeah.
At the extra mile, there's no traffic, because everybody's trying to do what they're supposed to do, and it ends at what I'm supposed to do. Then who does extra? That person who now goes extra is the one who's noticed, because hey, they're doing everything you're doing, but they've decided, oh no, this is not enough, I can do extra. So I think we need to get to that space.
I like that phrase. We should hashtag it. What did you say about that?
There's no traffic at the extra mile.
Oh, goodness. So we have a hashtag today already. I totally love that. Looking at the spaces that there are, whichever place that you work, how or what are you doing as a woman to help others, male, female, especially the female, to empower them in this way? You are a principal. That means you have a lot of responsibility for both boys and girls. I don't know, is it a boys' school?
Boys and girls.
Boys and girls. Yeah. So what is it that you do? What are some of these things? And you work with children as well. So what are some of those things that you see that we can change from a very, very tender age to help them understand that, you know what? This is not just meant for guys, because I think that is what probably some of us missed from that age when we grew up just knowing that nurse is a female, right? Yeah. So maybe you can just tell us that, and then Kasena will tell us.
First of all, I think parents need to pay attention to their children. They need to observe them and see what traits they have, what strengths they have, what weaknesses they have. When you're attentive to your child's growth and milestones, you're able to know, this child is able to do this and able to do that. So in our school, what we do is really cultivate whatever the child is really good at, and we try and help that child pursue their dreams. We speak to them, because sometimes you might be strong at something, but it's not really what you want to pursue in life.
True.
And so we tell them, this is what you're good at, but if it's not what you want to do, how can you use what you're good at to get to where you want to be? So we have career days, we have interactions with people in the professional world, and we encourage them to, very soon we'll be bringing them to KTN. Please welcome them so that they can have a tour and understand how media works. We bring them to our sets. If I'm an actor, so we bring them to our sets. We want them to understand how production is done. And when children know these things early, they're able to make a decision very early in their lives.
Absolutely.
You don't need to get a fourth-year student asking you, and then
so Alafu,
I'm not sure.
I'm so confused right now.
It's really unfortunate.
Evelyn, as you come to the end, you've got about 2 minutes.
Okay, so I think I'm very fortunate to have a boy and a girl in my house.
Okay.
So one of the things that I really, really try to do is make sure that my son doesn't have this mentality that if it's clearing the table, it's my daughter's responsibility, because I think we grew up in that kind of space where if it's cleaning the house, it's the girl.
The boys get to play.
Yeah, right. So just the kind of responsibility that they have to have, I think for me it's more of a life skill. So I need to show them how they need to survive when they go out of my house. And I keep telling them, you know what, go make your bed. No one is going to spread. Even if it's going to look how it's, go spread your bed, go do this, and tidy up. That is something they both need to do, because I also want to show my son that when he goes out of my house and goes to someone else's house, they won't just be sitting and doing the gazette, because that's not what their dad does. Their dad even cooks, he washes the dishes, so he needs to see that. So I think from an early age, what parents need to do is to start cultivating that culture from a very early age. And career-wise, I think as women we need to mentor, because I have now a pool of women who I'm mentoring to just, break that ceiling, as invisible as it will be. I think we need to stop saying women break that ceiling. Just go for it.
Just go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just go for it.
All right.
It's not a competition.
No.
There is a pie. Everybody has a piece.
Great
Just
stuff.
Go for it. Yeah.
Thank you, Power Women, for coming over. It's been lovely. Wakiom Zenge and Evelyn Kasina. And this has been us talking about that glass ceiling. Clearly, they don't believe it's there because they've broken it in their different industries. I've been your host, Mikali, and we're taking a very short commercial break. When we come back, we are going on to Motivate, and we have Christina Shosho. That's going to be an interesting story. Then right after, we have Catherine Mwangi on books and blogs.